Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a daily portion of German. This is the third segment in the description of Vermeer's painting Das Gästchen. And it's the text that we're looking at really is equivalent to what you would expect on a language proficiency exam given in any field that is the level of difficulty that's represented in this text. So if you can get through this text and understand how it works, then you're ready to pass a proficiency exam, especially for art history or art historical kinds of topics. But it applies also to all fields. So today we have with us Chad as our guest speaker. Do you want to say hello, Chad?
Hello.
Okay. So here we are at the in the second paragraph. We're going to go from here, if you can see my mark, right down to this point here. It's a pretty interesting passage. So you know the procedure. I'll read aloud, and Chad will repeat after me, and please repeat with him, and then I'll ask him questions and proceed that way to unravel the meanings of these sentences. Okay, you all set?
Yes.
Okay. Wie sehr auch Vermeer, everybody,
Wie sehr auch Vermeer
bis ins Kleinste genau selbst die Backsteine gemalt hat.
bis ins Kleinste genau selbst die Backsteine gemalt hat.
Let's go up to there. So wie sehr auch means as also or as much as Vermeer. Now, bis takes the accusative. What is this ins contraction for, Chad?
In das.
In das, accusative. Now, you asked the question earlier, Kleinste, why is this capitalized? Well, this is it's an adjective made into a noun, which gives it the abstract sense that the smallest thing. We have another one down further, das Wichtigste, which is the most important thing. So an adjective made into a noun, capitalizing it for that reason. Okay. And then up, where's the verb? What does this mean? Gemalt hat?
It has painted, or he has painted.
Good. And also the Vermeer is the subject here. As much as Vermeer has painted, bis ins Kleinste really means in up to into the smallest thing. And how he has painted accurately. Genau. Genau is an adverb there. Okay. And Backsteine are the even the bricks. You want to just translate that first section up to this point here?
Sure. Although Vermeer exactly or accurately painted up to into the most detail, even the bricks.
Good. And then going on, blieb dennoch an die Details nicht haften. Everybody?
Blieb dennoch an Details nicht haften.
So verb complex is where? Blieb?
Haften.
And
yeah, blieb haften.
Good. Now, blieb comes from, remember, it's important to know the principal parts of verbs. So this comes from bleiben. So bleiben, blieb, geblieben. That means this is a strong verb because there's a vowel change as it moves from the present into the past tense. And then haften just means like fixed or constrained. So he remained, yet he did not remain fixed on details. You want to just do that up to those lines there again, just for review?
Sure. Although Vermeer accurately painted up to the most detail, even the bricks, he nonetheless did not remain fixed on details.
Good. Okay, go on. Die Farbnuancen, die durch die Einwirkung von Wind und Wetter entstehen, everybody?
Die Farbnuancen, die durch die Einwirkung von Wind und Wetter entstehen.
Wind. Remember those W's sound like V's. Wind und Wetter. Good. Now, in compound nouns, you have to see two parts of this noun, nuances of color. Oftentimes, the best way to resolve these is to start with the second element and then add the first element. So the nuances of color is the subject. And where's the verb up to that line?
Entstehen.
Good. Entstehen. What does this D refer to? And what is it serving as?
It's a relative pronoun. It's going back to Farbnuancen.
Good. It's antecedent is Farbnuancen. So this is a relative, introducing a relative clause in between where the main verb is, which arise through, what case does durch take?
Accusative.
Through the effect of wind and weather. So the colors, the nuances of the color which arise through da da da. And then where's the main verb up to the comma?
Waren.
And eam is what case?
Dative.
Good. So they were, the nuances of color were, and then here we have another adjective made into a noun. Give it an abstract sense, were the most important thing to him or for him. Dative. Good. Okay. Going on. Die im Schwarz, oh, you're going to like this sentence. Die im Schwarz und Braun gemalten Fenster, everybody?
Die in Schwarz und Braun gemalten Fenster.
In Farben also.
In Farben also.
Let me just erase this initial stuff here so we're not mixed up. Okay, so here you have a certain construction in German which really is introduced toward the end of the first year. So what is this construction called?
Extended modifier, extended
Great.
adjective construction.
Yeah. So here you have D, and then after a definite article, you expect either an adjective or a noun. You don't get it, you get a preposition. So where does that construction begin?
Right before in.
Good, which we demarcate with a parentheses. And where does it end?
Wherever there's a participle or an adjective or something before the thing it's modifying.
Good.
So gemalten.
Yeah, this happens to be a past participle, so either a participle or an adjective. And then so you go from D all the way to Fenster, which has to be plural. Nouns that end with er have their plural formation also in the same form. So the windows, and how do you resolve this extended modifier? Where do you go first?
It's best to go from the back to the front, kind of in the small phrases.
All right, so, and you make a relative clause out of it. So the windows,
which were painted, and then in black and brown.
Perfect, great. So always begin here and then work your way back backwards toward in that construction. Yeah. So the windows, which are painted in black and brown, thus in colors, and then what does the D refer back to? It's antecedent.
Farben, I think.
Yeah. Which have the effect, which have certainly not a transparent effect. And then where's it after the comma? Let's read this together. Sind dennoch glänzend und lebhaft geworden. Everybody?
Sind dennoch glänzend und lebhaft geworden.
Durch das feine Linienspiel und die kleinen Tupfen.
Durch das feine Linienspiel und die kleinen Tupfen.
Great. Okay. So where's your verb complex from here to the end? And let me just erase this earlier. From here, we're going to the end.
Sind.
Sind. What goes together with that?
Maybe geworden.
Yeah. Which have become perfect passive. Which have become nonetheless radiant adjective. Which have become. This is just a predicate adjective, which have become radiant and lively. Through, and then durch always takes the accusative. Through, and then go on. Just translate that.
Through the fine linen. Well, I'm sorry, fine lines. Yes, fine lines.
And then with this compound noun, also try to do this also through the fine play of lines, and the and the small
and the small touches.
It means
dots.
Spots or touches, or it means with painting. Good.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's go from here. Die im Schwarz, just down to here. Just if you could summarize, just go through that slowly for everyone. And everyone should go ahead and do that.
Okay. So the windows, which are painted or which were painted in black and brown, in colors, therefore, which do not at all have a transparent effect, have become nonetheless radiant and lively
Mhm.
through the play of lines and the small dots,
Good. Just
touches.
all you did was miss Fina through the delicate play of lines. That's okay.
Oh,
Let's go on. Das Haus rechts wird rechts. This is an adverb meaning to on the right hand side. Adverb. That das Haus rechts wirklich zum Haus mit Tiefenwirkung geworden ist. Everybody.
dass das Haus rechts wirklich zum Haus mit tiefen Wirkung geworden ist
Und nicht bloß zur Fassade.
und nicht bloß zur Fassade.
Okay, so let's take a look at this first. The verb from here, das Haus. Where's the verb complex? And das introduces a subordinate clause, so we're in the subordinate clause first. Go ahead.
Should be ist geworden.
Yeah, it's so
Then
always
you
good,
also have a little extra thing.
always good to read it in the order. Geworden ist. So it
Oh,
has
geworden ist.
become. Now, there's an idiom with zum, with werden, when that stands alone, which means it has turned into. So you have here zum Haus, it has turned into a house, and not only into a facade. So zum, why is it zum here and zur here, Chad?
Because of the different cases of the words that follow.
Well, zum always takes the dative, zu dem Haus, and this is just neuter, and this happens to be a feminine noun, so this is the form is zur. Okay, so that the house on the right-hand side has turned into really a house with the depth effect, and not only has not only turned into or stands as a facade, is how you would translate that. Then going on, wird nicht allein durch den perspektivischen Aufbau links bewirkt. Everybody?
Wird nicht allein durch den perspektivischen Aufbau links bewirkt,
sondern vor allem durch die Figuren.
Sondern von allem durch die Figuren.
Okay, so where's the verb complex here from here to the end? Let me just erase this so we can focus more clearly.
Wird bewirkt.
Good, and that means?
It is brought about or something like that.
Good. Yeah, it is brought about. It is affected. That it is that. So that the house on the right-hand side has this characteristic, is brought about not only through the it takes the direct accusative, through the perspective construction on the left, and then going on vor allem durch die Figuren.
But also, but above all through the figures.
Rather, above all, by means of the figures. Just want to translate this das Haus. Just translate that last part.
Sure.
Slowly, so we can follow.
Right. That the house on the right has turned into the house with the depth effect and not simply a facade is brought about not only through the perspective construction on the left, but above all through or by means of the figures.
Great, the figures of people who are in the painting. Great. Okay, fantastic job. That's the end of the third section, and we have 2 more to go. So hopefully you'll tune in for the next ones. And so have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.